Violence and Abuse was established in 1993, and since then they have been working to transform the patriarchal mentality in India that leads to such heinous acts against women. They use untraditional methods such as storytelling, street theater, and youth blogs to reach the younger generation of men and impact their mindset and thought process positively. Mr. Harish Sadani, co founder and chief functionary of Men Against Violence and Abuse, has been working with gender issues for over 3 decades now. He has also worked with organizations such as UN Women and UN Populations. So, if your organization's primary aim is to spread awareness regarding abuse against women, violence against women, why do you think you are not equally focused on men and women, or like primarily focused on only men?
So, our Indian society is largely patriarchal and a male dominated society. So, violence and abuse, even in the 21st century, is happening largely on women. In my personal life and even as a belief, we believe that, if the violence and abuse happening on women is largely by men, then all men have a responsibility to ensure that no woman or no person in minority lives a life in violence or in the fear of violence. So the onus is more on the majoritarian people, on the people who are in more having power and privilege. Also with regards to men, we understand that masculinity is not a unitary construct. It is a social construct, but there are different kinds of men. So there are situations where, now you can see slowly in the workplace situation where women can be in a superior position and men can be subordinated. And there, there is a possibility of misuse of certain laws, and so there are possibilities that a woman might be, the power relations are different there, and so men can be also victims. But this you cannot say like an overall sense of the country. Like overall it is largely women, and therefore there is a clamor for gender neutral laws by some of these men's rights groups, which are a completely different group who sensationalize, and they tell that, a large number of men are also victimized and exploited, and, which is not true, because they are not able to substantiate any of those claims. So, we take a very balanced position. So even when we provide counseling and guidance to needy men, we cannot turn a Nelson's eye to the, gender-based violence and discrimination is a structural issue. It's a systemic issue. If the systems of our society are such that, which gives more power and privileges to men, and imposes restrictions on women, then that becomes a very important factor in deciding about your course of work and action. On the other side, by not working with men and even other gendered, so then the gender divide becomes bigger and things become embedded. That the rigid gender norms also impact men, negatively in the long run, because we think that, of course, they are different from what impact it would have on women. But, gradually in our work, we realize that, this is another point which we need to connect men with, that, if they are violent to women, if they are not sensitive, towards the woman in their lives, then how it impacts them. What the word which we have been talking world over of late is toxic masculinity. So how the toxicity in certain masculine behavior, which is not there in all men, in certain men, whoever display that toxicity, the toxic behavior, it's the impact of that is felt even in those men. Where once I got a fellowship of 2 years where I worked with a group of young men in Pune district of Maharashtra state. I worked closely with 33 young men who were of 18 to 22 years, and I engaged them, sensitize them intensely, and evolve these different tools, some of which you mentioned, like whether it's a interactive workshop, street theater performance, folk media, puppetry, storytelling, you name it. So different methods were experimented, and there was a very interesting response. The youths who were being mentored, they took it personally, and they uh, tried to stand up for the women in their lives whenever they noticed any kind of discrimination happening to them. And simultaneously in the wider community, they were talking about it, raising issues which were contemporary, related to violence and abuse of women. And now the heartening thing is, like since last year, September 2020, our work is amplified further. And, in 3 regions of India, I've started a program, where I will be working with a critical mass of young men and shaping them, so that they reach out to multiple other people, The key part of ours is advocacy. We have to advocate that, look, men can be also part of the solution. And when we give them examples, when I tell them how my mentees and later some of them became mentors, how they have been, standing up for the women in their lives, and small baby steps which they took and which every man can take. So I think, my focus has been to building up a pool of male facilitators who will reach out to more number of other young men and take the work forward. So I think that way we are really going slowly but steadily. I must tell you, very heartening that after the second wave and even before that, there have been so many requests across the country, because somewhere, I feel that the internet has brought people together, and the boundaries are blurring, and you can talk with anyone in any part of the country and even elsewhere. So there are more webinars being organized, more discussions happening, like in all the subsystems within family, within religion, within education. There are always good men, you know. So you need to befriend them and enable them to be allies, in our fight for a gender equal society. So that's it.